Year 5, it's me. Hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying a lovely sunny day. It's really nice here in the hut today. I'm not nearly as cold as I was last week. Thank goodness for that. So, I'm nicely warmed up and ready to do some more singing with you today. So we're going to do a fair bit of singing. So if you're at school, you're going to need to spread out and give yourselves enough space. Don't have to do it very loudly. We're going to do 3 things today. We're going to do a warm-up that is all about Italian words that we use in music. We are going to look at some more Victorian tunes, if you like, that were used during the time, and we're going to see if we can finish off the Victorians song that we started last week. So if you have got the words for the Victorian songs, then you might need to go find that now so that you'll be ready to do the whole thing all the way through. Fab. But let's start with our Italian words and phrases to start off with. Do you know what? I don't know any Italian at all, really, apart from bits that I've sung. And I went on holiday to Italy about 2 years ago, and I managed to get by just by using musical terms. It was really helpful. Because classical music really was very highly respected in Italy. This is way before the Victorians. Most of the words that we use to describe musical terms are Italian because Italian music was the best there was. So everybody used Italian words. So this little song is like a warm-up, but it's also going to teach you some of the most well-used ones, I suppose. So I want you to say after me a few of them. First of all, can you say forte? Forte. It means loud. Loud is forte. Say that for me. Loud is forte. And if you can roll your R's, brilliant. Next one is the opposite of that. Soft is piano. Can you say piano? Piano. So it's spelt like a piano, but you say it with an Italian accent. Piano, you say. Soft is piano. Fabulous. Now, here's one. This is great. Crescendo. Can you say that? Crescendo. Fab. It means gradually get louder. So I'm going to put those 3 words with a bit of a rhythm now. Goes like this. Loud is forte, soft is piano. Just do that for me. Loud is forte, soft is piano. Good. And then gradually get louder with a big crescendo. I'll do that again because it's quite a lot of words. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. You say it. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Good. And then the opposite of crescendo, getting louder, obviously is getting softer. And that's like the word diminish, diminuendo. So crescendo, diminuendo. You say diminuendo. Very good. So we go, then go back to soft with a diminuendo. You say it. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. And you'll get quieter as you say it. Okay, that's 4 things to remember. I'm going to go from the beginning. And then it's your turn. Off I go. Loud is forte, soft is piano. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. You try it. Off we go. Loud is forte, soft piano. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. Okay. Should we try putting some notes on it? Goes like this. Off I go. Loud is forte, soft is piano. I'll do that again for you and then it's your turn. Loud is forte, soft is piano. Off you go. Loud is forte, soft piano. Yeah? Soft is piano, sorry. Soft is piano. Good. Then we're going to go all the way up the steps. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. And I want you to really crescendo. I think that was a bit high, but never mind. Gradually off we go. gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Can you see it's going up and down and up and down? And then we go all the way down like this. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. I'll do it again. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. You'll go. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. Really quiet towards the end. So the whole thing from the beginning goes like this. I'm going to start a bit lower actually because that was too high. Off I go, loud is forte, soft is piano, gradually get louder with a big crescendo, then go back to soft with a diminuendo. You try. Off we go, loud is forte, soft is piano, gradually get louder with a big crescendo, then go back to soft with a diminuendo. Got it? Great! You've almost learnt the first verse. All we have to do now is stick a bit at the beginning. Music uses lots of Italiano. Italian. Music uses lots of Italiano. Just say that for me. Music uses lots of Italiano. Good, we're going to put the tune now. Music uses lots of Italiano. Music uses lots of Italiano. You'll go. Music uses lots of Italiano. So that's the first two bars. You just stick that at the beginning of the bit we've done already. Good. Should we try it? Music uses lots and then carry on. Off we go. Music uses lots of Italiano. Loud is forte, soft is piano. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. I should have put my teeth in before I started. Did you get it? Yes? Good. Should we try that with some music? And then we'll do the last wee section of verse 1. Okay, try and get this the right way around. Here we go. Music uses lots of Italiano. Loud is forte, soft is piano. Gradually get louder with a big crescendo. Then go back to soft with a diminuendo. Okay, that's part 1. Now what happens is you're going to learn 4 new Italian words that are all about the speed of the music, the tempo. Oh, there's another word. Tempo, speed. Largo means it's really slow. Say largo for me in a really big Italian way. Fab. Now, andante, andante. Yes, andante means at a walking speed. So it's just kind of nice and relaxed. Not too fast, not too slow. Andante is a walking pace. Then we've got allegro. Allegro is a fast and lively speed. Allegro is a fast and lively speed. And then the last one, presto. Can you say that? Presto. And presto, go as quickly as you can. So we're going to sing these words in the way that you should do them. So, largo, slowly, it's not a race. That's easy enough, isn't it? Largo, slowly, it's not a race. You'll go, largo, slowly, it's not a race. And then we're going to speed up 1 notch for andante. Andante is at walking pace. You can feel that that's a walking speed. Andante is at walking pace. You'll go, andante is at walking pace. Okay? Then the third one, allegro, gets a bit faster. Allegro, fast and a lively speed. You try. Allegro, fast and a lively speed. Can you hear that most of the tune sort of repeats, so you don't need to worry about that too much, it's just the words. And then the very last bit, presto, you go really quick. So it goes, and presto, go as quickly as you can. And presto, go as quickly as you can. It's just down the scale and up the scale. Off we go, and presto, go as quickly as you can. Good. So, those 4 all together. Goes like this. Largo, slowly, it's not a race. Andante is at walking pace. race, allegro, fast and a lively speed, and presto, go as quickly as you can. Right, this is what it should sound like. Slowly, it's not a race, andante is at walking pace, allegro, a fast and lively speed, and presto, go as quickly as you can. And then you go back to the beginning. Right, let's go back to the beginning. Here we go. Music uses lots of Italiano, loudest forte, softest piano, gradually get louder with a big crescendo, then go back to soft with a diminuendo. Now go slowly, it's not a race, andante is at walking pace, allegro, fast and lively speed, and presto, go as quickly as you can. Okay, so, golly, just in learning that song, you've learnt how many? 9 Italian words, if you include tempo. Fab! Next week we'll do the next verse when we'll find out about what we call articulation. We just did dynamics and tempo there, didn't we? Fasts and slows, yes, and louds and softs. Great. I'm going to put this away. Okay, so time to do something Victorian now. So as I said at the beginning, we were going to be learning about Victorian music that most ordinary people would be aware of and hear. So we did the music hall because that's where most ordinary folk would be able to go and hear music done in a formal sort of setting. But there was music all over the place in Victorian times, and the Victorians were, they were such good inventors. They came up with all kinds of musical inventions as well as other things too. And some of those inventions made their way onto the streets as well as into homes. So we said the piano was almost a Victorian music invention, wasn't it? So you might hear things like organ grinders at the corner of the street. Quite often they might even have a little pet that would chatter away to them. And the organ grinder, he would play popular tunes of the time by winding a crank, like a handle, that would play a piece of music. So that might be the sort of music that you might hear on Victorian streets. But the most common thing that you would hear would be something called street cries. And they have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. We know that there are Tudor street cries from the time of King Henry VIII. There may even be similar ones to the ones that we heard, that they might have heard in Victorian times. So I've got 3 street cries for you here. Basically, they're the songs that people who wanted to sell something would sing out loud so people knew that they were coming, and it would advertise what they were selling. So it would advertise their goods and their wares. And everybody would know what they were. They just would, because they would have grown up with them. They'd hear them all the time. So, for instance, we've got 3 here. One is called Ripe, Strawberries Ripe. So it's the song that we know a strawberry seller would sing. Because you wouldn't have a supermarket to just go and get anything you wanted from. You'd have to find different places to get different things, and quite often they'd be sold on the streets, strawberries being one of them. They had special little cones that they would sell the strawberries by to measure them out. Okay? So here is tune 1, street cry about strawberries. Goes like this. Ripe strawberries ripe, ripe strawberries ripe. Would you like to have a go? Off you go. Ripe strawberries ripe, ripe strawberries ripe. So if you could hear that tune, even if you couldn't hear the words, coming from a street away, and you were a bit peckish for some strawberries and you had some extra pennies, you'd find the song and go and find the strawberry seller. Okay? Here's another one. So lots of more well-off people, you'll know this I'm sure, would have servants and they'd have maids who generally worked down in the basement, wouldn't they, in the bottom of the house, unless they were going upstairs and sweeping stuff. So they were called maids. And the people sometimes who sold things were called maids as well. So milk was sold by milkmaids. And they would have these wooden, what are they called? They're sort of, like a great big harness stick thing made of wood. And dangling from that would be these big pails or churns of milk. And they would cry to the maids below stairs in the basements of those large Victorian houses. So the words are milk below maids. So they're the ones that are working downstairs. Below stairs, below maids. Milk below maids. Do you want to try that? Milk below maids. And then it goes like this. Will you buy any milk today, mistress? That's a bit of a longer phrase. Will you buy any milk today, mistress? Do you want to try that? Will you buy any milk today, mistress? So if you put those two together, milk below maids. Will you buy any milk today, mistress? Okay. So again, if you could hear that, you get your pail ready to get your milk poured out from the churn into your receptacle, your vessel to take back to your house. Okay, so generally those would have been female sellers more often than not, but quite often there were male sellers as well. For instance, the knife grinder. So he would wheel his kind of kit, his tools on a cart, and it would have a big stone that would go round and round, and he'd push a pedal to make that happen. And then you would take out your knives or your razors or maybe, I don't know, an axe or any kind of cutlery or scissors, things like that, so that he could grind it sharp again. Knives to grind. Knives, scissors and razors to grind. So he would be able to charge a different amount of money for whatever he was grinding, yeah? So if it was a little blade, he might charge a penny. But if it was scissors, big scissors, or I don't know, secretary type things, shears, that sort of stuff, he might get 3 halfpennies. Okay, so this is how his call would go. Knives to grind. Knives, scissors and razors to grind. I'll do that again. Knives to grind. Knives, scissors and razors to grind. Okay, do you want to try that with me? Off we go. Knives to grind. Knives, scissors and razors to grind. Great. So if we were trying to put those all together, this is how it goes. Ripe strawberries ripe. Ripe strawberries ripe. Milk below maids. Will you buy any milk today, mistress? Knives to grind. Knives, scissors and razors to grind. Okay, would you like to try that with me? Now, while you do that, I want you to listen out for the street cry that is in 3 time. There's only one of them. Yeah, and it's obviously in 3 times. So it's got 3 beats in the bar instead of 4 beats in the bar. You know, we've been working at this with Daisy. So we're going to go ripe strawberries ripe. Off we go. Ripe strawberries ripe. Ripe strawberries ripe. Milk below maids. Will you buy any milk today, mistress? Knives to grind. Knives, scissors and razors to grind. Did you guess which one it was? It was the last one. Knives to Grind is the one that's in 3 time. And if you were really clever, you might be able to write out what that rhythm is if you had some time. But this week, if you do have time, I'd like you to do this instead, a little bit of composition. I hope you got on okay with writing your little Daisy Daisy answer last week. What I'd like you to do this week is to think about what it would be like to be a street seller today. What kind of things would you sell if you were selling in the street today? And could you come up with a street cry of your own? A little tune and a little phrase of words that would advertise what you were selling? I don't know. Once upon a time it was fidget spinners, wasn't it? Everybody wanted fidget spinners. How would you do a street cry for fidget spinners? That would be fab. If you could just have a go for a bit of fun at that, would be excellent. And the other thing I'd like you to do is I've sent a little link to Miss Ellison. Could you watch a tiny little snippet from the musical Oliver? It's fab. It's all about a young orphan. It's very famous. And there's a whole section in the musical when he finds himself having been adopted by a new family in this beautiful house. And he wakes up to the sound of street cries. So if you could watch that, and I want you to listen out for the street cry that we did today, because it's in there, it's in the film. Okay then folks, it's the Victorian song. So if you've got your music, fantastic. We did the first verse, we did the chorus last week so that we could just get an idea of what it sounded like. So hopefully you've had a little practice at it, yeah? And you might well be able to sing along with the whole thing now. That would be super. I'm just trying to find it on my phone and making sure that my speaker is still up and running and working. I might put that there. Okay, so if you remember, we're Victorians, ask a historian, life for kids was rough. We're Victorians, very dinosaurian, if you think your school is tough, then pity us. Okay? So now we've got verse 2 and verse 3 to do. Kings and queens and Latin grammar, hard to say with a stammer. Was very sad in the olden days. If you had a stammer or something like that, you would be made to go and stand in the corner. Really, really unfair. If you were left-handed or anything that wasn't right-handed and doing everything properly, you'd be in trouble. No PE, computers or art, if you ask me. Life was hard. That's verse 2. And then verse 3. The British Empire covered the earth, but the city streets were covered with dirt. We were hungry and worked too much. Instead of at cinemas, we had the church. So there weren't any cinemas. Everybody would go to church for their sort of sociable things to do. So should we try singing the whole thing all the way through, folks? Ready? Let's give it a go. Cross fingers, it's going to start. Yes! Brilliant. I hope this is in your head for the rest of the week. Okay. Desks in straight lines, hair in buns, classes of 50 writing out sums, canes for the naughty, no hugs for the sad, and for the lefties, the dunce's hat. We're Victorians, ask a historian, life for kids was rough. We're Victorians, very dinosaurian, if you think your school is tough, then pity us. So kings and queens and Latin grammar, here we go. Latin grammar, hard to say with a stammer. No PE, computers or art, if you ask me. Life was hard. Chorus. We're Victorians, ask a historian, life for kids was rough. We're Victorians, very dinosaurian, if you think your school is tough, then pity us. British Empire. The British Empire covered the earth, but the city streets were covered with dirt. We were hungry and worked too much. Instead of the cinemas, we had the church. Last chorus, we're Victorians, ask a historian. Life for kids was rough. We're Victorian, very dinosaurian. If you think your school is tough, then pity us. And then we just fade out. We're Victorian, ask a historian. Life for kids was rough. We're Victorian, very dinosaurian. If you think your school is tough, then pity us. If you think your school is tough, then pity us. If you think your school is tough, then pity us. Good job. I hope you've enjoyed doing that. We shall do a little bit more work on Victorian songs and stuff like that next week. But in the meantime, take care, look after yourselves. See you next week. Bye.